For more, I want to bring in Jake Sherman, co-founder of Punchbowl News and MSNBC political contributor Brendan Buck, former aide to Speakers Ryan and Boehner, and former Democratic Congresswoman, I should say, Donna Edwards of Maryland. So, Jake, let's start with Congressman Green being removed, other Democrats waving signs, occasionally booing. Is that what Democratic leadership wanted?
No, not in any way, shape, or form, Jose. And I want to send condolences to you and your family about your brother, who I knew a little bit up here, very good man.
Thank you.
But in addition to that, let me get back to the speech last night. They wanted no disruptions, Jose, zero disruptions. They wanted to have Trump be the focus and his message be the focus, and to highlight, in their estimation, Jose, what they think are the bad policies of Donald Trump. This was anything but that. They had Al Green waving his cane and standing up and screaming, not listening to the speaker or to authorities until he had to get kicked out of the chamber. They had members hissing and booing at multiple occasions. Listen, the State of the Union is not the event it used to be. Or speeches to Congress are not the event they used to be. They're reflective of today's politics. But the leadership sent out a message kind of late yesterday that they should just sit somber during the speech. They didn't really do that. I mean, they did hold up signs. They again, booed and hissed. But I cannot imagine, and I've been getting texts all morning from Democratic members about this, there are not many Democrats who are happy with how they acted last night, how some of them acted last night at this address.
Donna, what do you think voters wanted to see last night?
Well, I have to tell you, it was pretty startling to look at the House floor. I understand the frustration that many Democrats feel with this president. And I think Jake is right. I mean, the State of the Union has changed so tremendously and dramatically over the last several years with many of these protests. There were protests against Joe Biden. I think for voters, mostly voters wanted to hear about what their major concern is, the economy, and around their kitchen table, how they're spending their money and how much things cost at the grocery store and in the economy. And I don't think they got a lot of that, sadly. It was a focal point of the campaign, but it certainly was not the focal point of the president's address last night. And I think some Democrats were expressing frustration with that, in addition to all of the cuts that have been made that have taken a real sledgehammer to the federal government.
And Brendan, what do you think the impact is from last night's address? Donna was talking about the focal point. What do you think the focal point people will be remembering going forward? Brendan?
Well, it's interesting. Usually early on in a speech, you'd like to... Do you have me?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Usually early on in a speech, you want to focus on the thing that you want people to remember the most, because some people will tune out later on. Here you got a situation where Donald Trump spent a significant portion of the early bit of the speech talking about how he won the election and recounting his electoral college victory. It all felt very self-indulgent. And perhaps not in a surprising way. You had a situation where it was far more spectacle and showmanship over substance. I was struck by how little he was actually asking Congress to do. Usually these speeches are laying out a bold agenda for what they want Congress to accomplish. And this is the beginning of the person's term. And Donald Trump basically said, I want you to keep tax rates where they are. I want you to create a new COPS program and some more money for immigration. And that was really it. I think this is a president who doesn't care a whole lot about the substance and what Congress has to do. It was much more about things that he was able to do, much more about tariffs. If this is a president who's facing a level of weakness on the economy already, people questioning whether he's committed to it, I'm not sure that they got a lot of convincing answers that he has a plan for them.
Yeah, and speaking of the economy, and Jake, Elon Musk was in attendance last night, and the president, a shout out to him. Here's how that went.
Doge. Perhaps you've heard of it. Perhaps. which is headed by Elon Musk, who is in the gallery tonight. And any federal bureaucrat who resists this change will be removed from office immediately. Because we are draining the swamp. It's very simple. And the days of rule by unelected bureaucrats are over.
Jake, it appears that the Trump-Musk partnership is still going strong.
Still pushing along. Yes, and Elon Musk also will be up here tonight at 7 p.m. briefing House Republicans on some of these Doge cuts. These Doge cuts have become a political lightning rod on Capitol Hill, obviously between Republicans and Democrats, but also among Republicans who are a minority of them are a bit frustrated at how they are not being read into the process, not being read in to what Elon Musk is slashing or suggesting to slash. And we are, Jose, I know I sound like a broken record. We are about 9 days until the funding deadline, a government shutdown deadline. Congress is not matching Elon Musk's cuts in Doge with the spending bill. So the spending bill will spend money in places that Doge has suggested to cut. Speaker Mike Johnson says he needs more time to review the cuts and to quantify them, and then he will work them into the 2026 spending bills, which will be completed next year.
And, Donna, we have new reporting that Republicans are being advised by the chair of the National Republican Congressional Committee to avoid town halls after the response at some of the town halls to Doge's cuts. But Vice President Vance is hitting the road today to sell the Trump agenda. He'll visit the southern border. How do you think that strategy is holding up? And do you think, Donna, that this pressure at some town halls could be increasing going forward?
Well, I mean, you have to remember that with the American people, these Doge cuts and Elon Musk in particular are not very popular. And the more that people find out about them, the more unpopular they become. And so I think when the president aligns himself with Elon Musk and with Doge and these cuts, that it is not playing well. And that is why you're seeing these really sort of organic showing of people at town hall meetings. And you can't avoid your constituents. You can not hold a town hall, but it doesn't mean that you can avoid your constituents. And I think people will continue to show up where members of Congress show up, and it will be very disruptive because the cuts are not popular. And you're not going to be able to deflect that by sending the vice president to the southern border.
Jake Sherman, Brendan Buck, and former Congresswoman Donna Edwards, I thank you so very much. Appreciate it.